Welcome back, everyone, to a very special episode of the Draw Control podcast. On today's episode, I'm joined by Ebony Norman, who is a player on the Australian U20 women's lacrosse team. In the 7 games that she played, Ebony scored 3 goals and had 5 assists as she helped lead her team to a fourth place finish. Ebony currently plays for Footscray Lacrosse Club, and we're so excited to have her on the podcast so we can share stories like hers from players from Australia and different countries, and I'm super excited to have her on today. So welcome to the podcast, Ebony, and how is
Right.
everything going?
It's really good actually. It's good to have some time off. Still hitting the gym, but just not as hardcore as training every single day.
Yeah, yeah. No, is it sort of crazy to sort of have that sort of not as I guess a lot more free time since the tournament ended?
Yeah, definitely. I'm kind of like, what do I do with myself now?
Well, I want to sort of start off the podcast talking about the beginning of your career and sort of working all the way down to where you are today. So, obviously, from the research I did on yourself, it says that you're from Melbourne, Australia. So, talk about growing up there and just how did you start playing lacrosse and how did you first hear about the sport?
Yeah, so I was a girl that used to play all these sports. Like I tried every single sport there was in the book. I was playing hockey at the time, and because it's very similar to lacrosse, my friend actually brought me to Bring a Friend Day at Footscray. And I instantly like fell in love. And I feel like because you've got like hand-eye coordination skills, it's quite easy to adapt to lacrosse pretty easily. Yeah, like I started when I was what, 13, so 6 years ago now. And yeah, it just came really naturally to me.
And who are some of your lacrosse role models growing up in Australia?
I was lucky to be coached by Sarah Mollison, who played at Maryland. Also Steph Kelly, she is a dominant right attacker. Oh, sorry, she's left-handed. In our state league team, they really helped me with stepping stones to like being who I am today. Just watching them, but I also get to play with them now in our state league team, so it's really awesome to see.
That must be so cool to sort of grow up idolizing someone and then getting to be teammates with them. Is it sort of hard to try to separate that, the fan versus like trying to be a teammate as well?
It was at the start, I was sort of fangirling with them. I felt a little bit of the pressure too, but also I realized that I can be at the same level that they are, and they helped me get there.
Well, like you mentioned, you currently play for Footscray Lacrosse Club. I'm curious, how did you join that club? Let's sort of get in more detail about that. And then I just describe what the club is like because obviously I feel like lacrosse clubs in Australia are a lot different than what our audience is used to here in North America. So who are some of the players you get to play with? Who coaches you? And who are some of the teams that you get to play against on a daily basis?
Yeah. So Footscray Lacrosse Club is a really great environment. That's why I personally loved it. As I said, my friend brought me there. She also played for a couple years beforehand. What I love is like the intensity that we have there. Everyone wants the same goal. We all want to win, and we were lucky to do that this year as well as the past 3 years, I think it was. Um, but so inviting. I love wearing like the green and white. It's close to green and gold, so that's that's good. Um, but yeah, as I said, Sarah Molson, Steph Kelly, you've got Beck Lane, who also coaches over in America. Emily Prentice. There's just so many players that have also represented Australia. I think almost everyone in our Footscray State League team has represented Australia now, so it's awesome.
What's been your favorite memory with the club so far?
Um, This like happens every year, but if someone has a milestone game, so like 150 games, 200 games, we all go inside the change rooms and make a banner. And it's just, it brings us all together. It's so fun. You get to like stick on these letters that you cut out and everything. We're just all there together and it feels so good to like show someone that we really care about them.
Yeah, good team bonding activity as well, I would
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah.
Now, how do you think your club experience with Footscray sort of helped prepare you for the U20 World Championships?
Um, like I said, they all the girls have basically played for Australia already, so they know the process. They know the tryouts. They know the trainings, camps, and schedules. It's full on. It's hectic. But they also know like gameplays and style, so I got a pretty easy like lead up to it because I knew what was going on.
Well, let's transition and talk about the U20 World Championship. So, my first question is, how does the process selection process work for Team Australia? And where were you when you found out that you were going to Hong Kong and that you made the team?
Yeah, so our selection progress because it's really hard because we've got other states. We've got South Australia, WA, and Vic, obviously. So what happens is we do a state-based camp, which is like a little selection throughout our states. Then we meet over. Sometimes they'll come to Victoria. Sometimes we'll go over to South Australia and WA. And we actually stay with the families of like the girls trying out. So it's also another bonding experience. And then they get cut down. So we go from one cut, two cut, three cut. I think there were four cuts at the end. But that makes it really easy just to sort of filter out some of the girls, and then but we're also playing all together. So you get to see if you gel with any other people from different states.
Now, talk a little about sort of the chemistry that you had with your teammates. As I saw that you were listed as an attacker, so what was it like playing and having midfielders like Oshie Levy and Miriam? You know, what makes them great midfielders from your opinion as an attacker, and what's it like sort of bonding with the rest of the team, especially players that you normally don't get to play with every day?
Yeah. So we actually play against each other quite often. Like the SA girls and the WA girls played Victoria a lot. I've played with and against Mim since we were like 13. So I love that girl. She is just I like iconic. Like her speed is unmatched and she uses it to her advantage so well that it's just so awesome to see when she's playing. She creates offense like easily because of how quick she is. And Osha, I haven't played with her or against her at all. So, like I came in here being quite like under pressure because she's had played a tournament before. But then I realized that she is so helpful. Her hustle is insane, and she wants the goal that everyone else does. Like we want to win. Unfortunately, we didn't get that result, but she was also so positive when we were doing it. It was amazing. Um, the SA girls, we play them quite often, just in national like state tournaments and stuff. They they play such a different style to us, but they brought in so many like new skills and new ways to play that we adapted to it quite easily.
Now, what was your experience like in Hong Kong off the field? It looked like a lot of fun based on what I was seeing on social media, but obviously being there and sort of getting the bond with your teammates off the field must have been really fun. And to experience a new country, I don't know if you've ever been there or not before. So,
No, so that was my first time actually going out of the country. So I was like, I didn't know what to expect at all. We firstly went to Japan. So the first week went to Japan, and then 2.5 weeks we were in Hong Kong. Japan was amazing. Like shopping was awesome. Food was amazing. It's just like the atmosphere was really welcoming, but also like so fast paced and quick. We got a lot of opportunities to go out and see like the streets and everything. Um, as well as like we did play a couple practice matches against like the local Japanese teams. I spent way too much money there, expecting like I wasn't going to spend money in Hong Kong, but I probably spent more money in Hong Kong than I did Japan. Um, what I love about our team was we gelled so easily together that when we had off field time, we would all be in each other's rooms, like singing to songs or pulling pranks on our manager and stuff. It was like we all were really bonded together from the start.
now on the field, from your perspective, what was the biggest thing that you think you got better at throughout the tournament or before the tournament as well?
Um, I'd probably say communication. It's a really big thing in lacrosse, obviously. But with the heat, like you get tired and you don't want to use your voice because it's just a habit. But as I started to get going, I realized that communication is such a pivotal thing that even from attack, when I'm sitting behind that restraining line and I'm telling the defenders what to do, they're listening. It's active listening. So I can see that they're listening because they're doing what's happening. And then in attack, it's so easy to create plays and start plays if you've got that communication from the start.
Now, what's it like being coached by Megan Mollison in this tournament? Obviously, she's a lacrosse legend in Australia, so it must have been super cool for you to be coached by her in this tournament.
Yeah, so she coached our state league team last year and we actually won that one. I think she's so hard and she's so gritty towards what she does, and she knows everyone's potential in the team. So she just wants everyone to understand that they've got the ability to do it, and they just need the confidence to go out and actually perform at their best. Um, I think she's also like a teammate as well. Like you could go to her for anything if you felt like you weren't being heard or just little things. Like, and she knows how to communicate off the field really well. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about your team's play in this tournament. So obviously in group play, your team dominated, winning all four games. What would you say was your team's key to success in the group stage that led to, I guess, winning all four of those games against really tough opponents, in my opinion?
Yeah. I think our ball movement was so quick and so early that the defense was really unsettled, so it was really easy to capitalize on those goals really quickly. And I think lacrosse IQ in different situations, like decision making was a really big thing in our pool play. I think we lost it a little bit in the finals because we were so like, we need to score goals, we need to turn it over. Like we were really slowed down and settled in pool play, and it looked really well. Like it looked really nice.
Now, in the semifinal matchup and the bronze medal games, your team lost to Team USA and Japan. Even though those games didn't go your team's way, what was it like getting to compete for a medal and also playing against a really good USA squad?
Yeah. I think competing for a medal was a reward in itself. It shows that the hard work and dedication that you've done for a year and a half to get to this spot has really paid off. And although we didn't get the result we wanted, I'm so proud of like all the girls and I'm so grateful that like they understood that we are here to fight for it. And playing US, it's insane. Like I've watched the girls play over there for so long and getting to play against them, but also in like the same tournament makes you feel like good about yourself because it's, oh, I'm at the same tournament that they are. I'm almost at the same level that they are. It's really like good on myself, yeah.
And what are you going to take away from your experience at the U20 World Championships and getting the chance to represent your country? Because I assume it's going to be a memory that you're never going to forget.
Yeah. Just taking opportunities. Like girls would kill to wear the green and gold across their chest, and I got the opportunity to do that. So I'm so eternally grateful. But also just making new friends, eating new food, traveling. There's so many opportunities that this tournament like brought out, and it was so fun and obviously a memory that I'm never gonna forget.
So let's move on to a segment I like to call the non-lacrosse segment, where I ask you some non-lacrosse questions to get you a little bit to get to know you a little bit more off the field. So, first one is who is the funniest teammate you have on the Australian lacrosse team?
Oh gosh. Um, I'm gonna say Mim and Holly Dinny. They're just so unintentionally funny. Like sometimes I'm like, you're an idiot. Like, and they just don't care, which I love. I love that about them.
Which teammate has the best off the field style?
Um, I'm gonna say Marley only because um her and Mim went out one day and bought like these Adidas tracksuit pants, and the next day, like half of our team were wearing them because we loved them so much.
So she's the trendsetter of the team, I would
Yeah,
imagine. Okay,
exactly
okay.
right.
Now, obviously, you got to travel to Japan and Hong Kong. So, where's one place you would love to travel to one day?
Um, I would honestly say America. I just want to see how different it is from Australia, but also I really want to try the food.
Yes, yes. There's a lot of places to visit in America, so it's pretty cool. I would say for me, I don't know, probably like I feel like Canada would be cool because
Yeah.
I really like some of the cities and it's pretty underrated. So I'd probably check that out first. I need to check out North America before I leave this part of the hemisphere.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I'm not Australian, so I want to do sort of a segment where I ask you questions about Australia. So, what is one question you have for Americans in general? And then I'll ask one questions that we have for Australians.
Perfect. I did ask the girls before I came on here a question, like what I should ask. They did say, what's better, Raising Cane's or Chipotle?
Well, I've never had Chipotle, to be honest with you, so I would probably say Raising Cane's. I think I really like that food a lot, but I'm a big fan of Chick-fil-A. That's probably my favorite fast food restaurant.
Really want to try that. Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
the waffle fries are the best. So that's why it's my favorite. But I've never tried Chipotle before. I'm not really big on fast food. I try to eat more local stuff.
That's good for you. I would not resist if I went to America.
Now, My question for you is obviously there's so many exotic animals in Australia like koalas, kangaroos, and platypuses. I'm curious, what do Australians that live in Australia think about those animals? Is it something that like, oh, it's just a koala, I see that every day, or is it something like, man, that's so cool, I get to see a koala?
Um, well, I do ride my kangaroo to school. No, I'm just kidding. Um, I go like to a place called Yarrawonga, which is sort of like a farmish area. We see kangaroos driving past all the time. My dad's actually hit one before,
Oh
so
my
it's
gosh.
not very uncommon to see them. But a platypus, I've actually never seen that before, except for at the zoo or like at the aquarium. And koalas, I also have never seen them before, but I would love to. They're so cute. But apparently there's
I
some
heard
like
they're
really,
mean.
yeah, exactly. I'm like, I don't know what I haven't heard that before, but yeah. Some animals I'm like, yeah, like I've seen you before, obviously like kangaroos. But then even like an emu, like I want to see one of them, but they're really scary because I'm scared of birds.
Yeah. I heard like I saw someone make a video and it was like a koala was just like in the middle of the road and they're trying to move it and started like hissing at the guy and it was like crazy. But I would honestly want to like take a picture with one. So,
Yeah.
but I heard they sleep for like 20 hours a day, so it'd probably be easy to do that.
Yeah.
And kangaroos seem cool as well, but I
Yeah.
would be scared to go near one because I wouldn't want to get punched in the face because I feel like they seem very aggressive. You would obviously know more about that than I would.
Yeah, they do. They are a bit aggressive, actually. They're a bit scary.
Now, next question is, who is your favorite Australian?
Ooh, my favorite Australian. Um, I like Margot Robbie. She's
Yeah,
sick.
yeah, she's
Like,
awesome.
so awesome.
I feel like Margot Robbie's probably number one, but I would also say Steve Irwin probably tied for one as well, just
Oh my
because he's a
gosh.
legend too.
Yeah, well, Robert Irwin is my celebrity crush, so thank you.
No, I like Steve Irwin a lot. That was fun watching those shows. Rest in
Yeah,
peace to him, obviously. Miss him a lot.
exactly.
And then last Australian question is, what is your favorite part about Australia?
Yeah, so I had to think about this one because there's a lot. But I would probably say, like in Melbourne specifically, I don't really know about everywhere else. Adelaide's kind of like the wineries and the nice area, but Melbourne, we've got a really big like nightlife. So everyone will be out on like a Friday and Saturday night in the city, like it's dark. We've got so many places to go. And then we can also just drive down to the local like Torquay Beach, which is probably like an hour drive. So a nice little road trip. Some of the beaches in Melbourne aren't very nice, so we do have to travel a little bit to get to beaches. But once you do, they're amazing. They're so awesome.
I've never been to Australia, but I would say like Sydney Opera House. That's like the
Yeah.
most recognizable, I assume, tourist attraction. So I feel like that would be cool to see that. So that's probably my
Yeah.
favorite. Now, getting back, oh, one more non-lacrosse question I want to ask you was if you could have lunch with anyone in the world, who would it be and why?
Oh my gosh, Adele. I love her for some reason. Like her accent and like she's just so funny. And I really want to go to her concert, so maybe she'll give me tickets. But like she's just awesome. I feel like it would be so funny to like interact with her. So yeah.
Yeah. If Adele's listening to this podcast, that would be pretty cool. So that's definitely
I'll
something I
DM
would
it to
bring.
her.
Now, getting back to a few lacrosse questions now, my first question to you is what should be done to help grow lacrosse, women's lacrosse in Australia? I'm curious how popular the sport is compared to other sports in the country, and what do you think should be done to help sort of make it more popular amongst people that live there?
Yeah. So I actually get the privilege to go around to primary schools and teach lacrosse in schools to like make it a little bit well known. Because when I get there, I'm like, who's heard of lacrosse? And there's like one or two hands that go up. And I'm like, that is so sad because it's such an awesome sport and no one knows really about it. In Australia, it's very small here. It's starting to get a lot bigger because we're introducing like new ways to talk to people and to get people more involved. So that's a really great way to grow the sport is school lacrosse clinics or as I said, like bring a friend day. That's how I got into it. I also coached the under 12 girls at Footscray, and more than half of the team got introduced to lacrosse through school clinics. So that just goes to show like how many people will join if they know what the sport is, but also funding. Like it is incredibly difficult to travel for lacrosse because it is such a small sport. It is so expensive for all the equipment, all the gear, all to travel, like everything about it. So with the help of the Susafanos Foundation in Australia, it's been really helpful. Um, Susafanos was a an amazing woman who, passed away a few years ago. She was a really big woman in lacrosse, and she also played for Newport. So she started a foundation to essentially, like, help Australian teams to go further, in lacrosse because she really wants to grow the sport.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, definitely, if there's any way for people to help with that foundation, feel free to let everyone know. Just because obviously the goal of this podcast is to shine more of a spotlight on Australian lacrosse and some of your teammates. So that's definitely awesome to hear, and it's good to hear that it's growing too. And yeah, I feel like we got to do more school clinics as well because that's definitely how people hear about the sport.
Mhm.
Now, last question I have for you, Ebony, is: do you have any shout outs you want to give? And who from your team should we have on the podcast next?
I've said them before, but obviously, like, Footscray Lacrosse Club, like, thank you to everyone. Like, I wouldn't be where I was today without them. Just their knowledge and, like, their experience has helped me grow so much as a player. And who I think should come on? Probably Meg Bown. She's one of our captains. I'm really close with her, and she's grown up with lacrosse in her family since she was little. So her lacrosse IQ and her ball knowledge is just insane, and I think it'd be really funny to see some of her answers on here. But yeah,
That's awesome. We'll definitely reach out. But Ebony, I just want to say thank you so much for taking time every day and coming on. I really appreciate it. It was so much fun getting the chance to learn more about you and Australia and just your experience at the tournament as well. So thank you so much for doing this and have a wonderful day.
thank you so much. You're awesome. Thank you.